There we are. I'm using a multi-stream software. And yeah, it's kind of hard to figure all of that stuff out for the very first time. I hope the audio works fine. Yeah, let's see that you can actually see me. Let's get over here. Oh, there we are. Whew. Well then, this is a mess already on my bench. But yeah, today, actually, we're going to try out to stream. Have never tried that before. Very glad to see some of you guys here. Russ is here, JFix is here, and Summer Spring 3346. Welcome, everyone. Nice to see you. Today, as always, we have an ATX motherboard to repair. Let's see, let's get that on the bench. So let's see, this is the wrong scene. We want the overhead cam. Everything looking fine. And we have a good view now of what we actually have on our bench today. So, this is actually a board that I tried to repair multiple times before. This is a MPG X570 Gaming Edge Wi-Fi. And yeah, this thing came to me for it's been probably a year or longer even. I got this one from a viewer. And yeah, it does not post, and as far as I remember, it got stuck on a CPU and RAM LED or something like that. Man, this is... Oh. It's been quite some time that it's laying here. It's quite dusty, but yeah. I'm not too sure what I've done to this before. I think I've done a BIOS flash on here. But I don't really remember anything else that I've done to it. Yeah, we'll probably have to start with this one from like the beginning on. Let's see, is my chat still right? Yup, can see the chat. So let's see. Oh, okay. Interesting. My chat window actually does not want. It's actually not right. Let's see. I need to change this. Right there. Now I can see something. Oh, working woo. Yeah. Tag, viel Glück. Danke. Vielen Dank. Hello there. Hi, Kiro Bay. Hi there. AV BFS. Congratulations to your anniversary. Thank you very much, JFix. Ross, hello. Grax, thank you very much. All good here. Always looking forward for more motherboards. Yeah, there's always so many boards to repair. Hello there. Hi, Rainery. CPU and RAM LED, you say, yeah, exactly, just like you had today. So, yeah, I actually got the idea of trying to fix this one after I've seen your live stream today, where that actually was a BIOS issue. And the big problem here is what I think is that I tried to flash the BIOS on this, but it might be actually the IC that is damaged. Hello, Leinster? Stainer? Man, names are hard. Hello, you are live. Yes, I am live for the very first time. Invested? 4, yeah. Hello from Argentina. Hello from Germany. So, yeah, let's actually get to the board then. I want to start with usual checks. We are going to be using the multimeter, and I just want to go over a few checks again, just like I always do. Just go to the 3.3 volts, kilo ohms rising, 5 VSB, has almost a kilo ohm, that is good. Let's see, 5 volts, kilo ohms rising, and 12 volts, also kilo ohms. Okay, let's see for the CPU power supply that has kilo ohms, and from the 12 volts to the phase Also kilo ohms. So, no shorts, obviously, like I thought it would have. Let's then get a CPU here. So, we are trying a 3100 out. Let's see. 3100 in here. We're gonna need 1 stick of RAM. Hey, yeah, schnell, schnell, schnell. Yeah, exactly that. So, stick of RAM is in there. We do have LED indications, actually, on the top right. Right there. Let's see. Need a power button and a speaker. Power button is on. Let's get a speaker also on to here. How did you start with mainboard repairing? That's an actually interesting question. I've started, so I did crypto mining back in the day, like a few years ago. And there were these mainboards, ASRock, H110, BTC Pro Plus. And they were really expensive, but they were the board that you wanted to get. And that's how I started to repair mainboards. That was the very first mainboard that I repaired, an H110 BTC Pro Plus. And from there, everything started. Hi, Farzad Shabsi. And which resistance should the X570 chipset have? That's a very good question. The X570 chipset, I've seen like around 30 ohms, I think. Let's see what this one has, because I'm pretty sure the chipset of this one is fine. If this is the chipset right here, this is not the chipset. Let's see. Can I probe it from here? Nope. And let's see it from there. Nope, I cannot probe the chipset right now. For this board, let's see, can I get onto there? No, it seems to have higher resistance than that, maybe even. Let me get a good grounding point, make sure that I can actually reach. That is the ground side of things. I actually cannot. Yeah, I will have to remove the heatsink, but that is not where we actually need to be. But if I remember correctly, I saw around like 30 ohms or something like that for X570 chipsets. But in all of the years that I've been repairing boards, I've never had a bad X570 chipset, to be honest. Hi Daniel, nice to see you live. Hello chat. Hi Sylvake. Good start, started in the late 90s, net cafe fixing my toys. Yeah, I've actually heard a lot about repair cafes and similar stuff. Are you based in Germany? Yes, I am based in Germany. I live near to Frankfurt. So, let's see then. Let's see how this board behaves, that we actually can do something. So, we have 100 milliamps at 12 volts. That looks very fine. You can see everything, yes. Let's see for the debug LEDs now. So if you hit the power button, we see 2.3 amps, 2.4 amps moving CPU LED. And then, oh, okay, this has this issue, right? This is a VGA and a boot LED right there. And this board is not moving anywhere anymore. So it goes from CPU and then jumps to VGA and boot. And yeah, and it gets stuck at the power consumption. It doesn't move anymore. The CPU is getting hot, so vCore is definitely present. And there were two things that I thought might be the issue here. First issue might be a bad BIOS chip, and the other one that I'm suspecting that this might be going in some kind of protection mode. I've seen this exact behavior happen when there's a fault for the VRM, for example, and the board then goes into a protection mode. Easy to send motherboards to you, then do you fix GPUs or just mainboards? I have actually fixed some GPUs before, but I mostly focus in mainboards. That is my thing, let's say it like that. Okay, because I want to see if there's anything knocked off close to the VRM or any damage there. Let's go under the microscope and have a look for that then. Let me change this scene out. So let's go over to the microscope, get this out of here. So let's have a good look then around the VRAM of things. I need to reposition so you can actually still see me like that. So let's see. This is a classic phase structure with the low side and high side MOSFET. Is the VRM MOSFET in short? No, we actually have no shorts currently. Good to know then. I always love to video fixing motherboards. A good snack around was watching your videos. Thank you very much. I'm actually wondering how many people actually watch my videos while they sit on the toilet or eat their breakfast or something like that. Because I would definitely do that. Like, I can say that while I'm sitting on the toilet and thinking, I'm watching videos, and most of the time it's repair videos. And yeah, sometimes it's even live streams, because yeah. But everything so far here looks fine. So this actually has a lot of MOSFETs in the VRM. It has a quite big VRM. Let's see, this is the PWM controller where we go getting next. Guilty as charged. Caught someone. Yeah, in Germany, there's a calling that you say someone is an iPad child if you always need a video or something like that when you're eating. So the VRM does look a little bit miscolored, but I don't think that that anything could be shorted here. Interesting, I haven't noticed. For the SoC voltage, there's actually different driver MOSFETs here. That is very interesting. I've never paid attention to that. So for the normal V-Core, for the SoC, there's the high side and low side MOSFET, but they have integrated drivers for the other one. And that looks like a little bit of corrosion on that resistor there. That is actually interesting. Big question now is this a DR MOS? Is the driver and the low side and the high side MOSFET integrated in that? Or is that just a high side and a low side MOSFET? That is very interesting. We now might need to have a look at the board view for that. If you're wondering why I'm not looking there, there's my webcam where you're looking at me, and up there is my microscope output from the TV. That's why I'm always looking up there. And when I'm looking to the right here, I'm looking at chat actually. Let's see. I'm not usually on the tool user. When I repair something myself, I build PCs and fix them. And some, yeah, to some extent, yeah. What, a live stream in the Mainboard Medic channel? It's a good day today. Yeah, imagine. It's been 2 years and we have the first live stream today. Guten Morgen, Herr Medic. Guten Morgen, Howtopia. How are you today? Oh my god, the Mainboard Medic is live. Yeah, trying something different today. Can you check if it has any short on 5 volts, 3.3 volts, or maybe the fan connector BIOS? Maybe it's just a wonky MOSFET. I had that on an Alienware, but it still started and but not post. We actually checked at the beginning the 12 volts and 5 volts, 3.3 volts on the ATX connector, and also the CPU connector, and we didn't have any shorts. Dual MOSFET, no driver. Yeah, that's what I thought also. Thank you very much for clarifying that. Why do you never live stream? It should make you some money. Because I do not care about the money. That's the thing. Like, I have a job. I am a student. This is just a hobby. I do not care about the money that I make from YouTube videos. Are we on another AM4 mobile? Just right. Exactly. AM4 this time. So this is interesting. Let's see it for the backside of the board then. I will definitely have to think about how to check these. We might do that on the backside then. Let's see if you can see anything else here. Let's readjust the focus. So let's see. Yeah, there are the drivers here. And what I have happened is that some of these drivers then had missing components, which is why the VRM then went into protection mode. And then a weird boot up like that happened. But so far, this looks all fine. Cannot see any knocked off components anywhere here. This is not supposed to be occupied as far as it seems. Let's see right here, more drivers. And it's looking very fine so far. Let's see right here. This is behind the CPU socket. No damage, no missing components. Let's see, this is behind the BIOS chip. This is the SPI header. This is off the backside of the board. But it looks fairly clean so far. So let me see. Are there any scratches or anything to be seen? But I don't think so. More components on this side. But it all looks fine. Let's actually have a look at the SPI chip then. Let's see what kind of trouble I've been making myself over there. Let's readjust the focus and let's see for chat. What are you studying? I am studying electrical engineering. Is that the first live stream? Yes, Lad Farmer. That's actually the first live stream in 2 years. Oh my god, bro. I love the live stream. I have 2 MOBAs I haven't fixed. I don't know what else to test. I wish you could help me, Medic, on live. I can give you a super chat. Hey, man. Actually, most people don't know that, but I do give support on finding out what is wrong with mainboards via my email address. So I have an email address linked in my description of every video, and people actually write to me all the time and ask about more motherboards, how what else to test on them. So yeah, feel free to do that. Yeah, this is wild. He's actually live. Yeah, but good hobbies are worth funding. We learned something from you, and you got have the extra money to get equipment for your lab. Yeah, extra money is a very good point. I want to show you something. Have a good look at my face cam. Let's see. Can I remove this without breaking anything? If you have a good look right there, this is my bench with like 3D printed organizers and stuff. And right here, that's a full-sized preheater that I've got. And I want to start next year to do BGA work, like CPU socket removal, chipsets, and so on and so forth. That thing fits a whole motherboard, like the heating area alone. And that thing was 600 euros, shipped from the UK. That thing was so expensive. That's almost worth like a BGA station in itself. So yeah. AMX 25U256. Yeah, that is the AMX I see that we have. We might want to swap this out for a Windbond chip, because I'm not sure if this one is still working or not, because I've reflashed this chip multiple times. Discord server, I do not have a Discord server. It's so much work to do. There are many different good Discord servers, so I don't do that. Yeah, Discord, no, thank you. Okay, I will send you an email. Okay, we'll be looking forward to then. The Rebuild machine, that expensive medic. Yeah, that it was expensive. Hi, Master JD Scene. Nice to see you. Always read your comments. Thank you very much. Nice BGA work. Yeah, well, we will see how nice it will be if I will actually start that out. Nice. Would love to see some BGA repairs in the future. Yeah, I would actually love to learn that. That is actually one of the skills that I need to do. 600 euros out of your pocket. People should fund your hobby. It's how all you get better in time. Yeah, man, it's my own decision to do these things. I do this because I love the hobby. Like, I don't expect anyone to pay anything. That's why I don't have memberships or a Patreon or anything. I don't do this to fund anything of what I do. I do this because I love the thing that I do, and I want to share the experience that I have and help others and learn together with others. I'm hoping to get one of them at some point. Yeah, I actually had to look quite some time because in Germany it's quite hard to get that preheater, and I had to import it out of the UK. If you read the chip and open an original side by side, see to compare. Yeah, I know that the firmware on this chip is good. I've flashed this multiple times and I've done the compare because my programmer also always does a verify. But still, even if you can read and write to a chip, it could still be not recognized by the board properly. Hello from Bangladesh. Hello. How are you? iFits booting in some areas will change. IR6500 are not better with the upper heater to do socket swaps. The big problem with the IR6500, I had that exact BGA station. The problem is the preheater on the bottom is too small. You need a full, you need a the full size. You need it to actually have the whole board preheated because I had the RR6500 and I tried socket swaps. And when you do that, the CPU socket, the area bends down. And with that, it actually happens that the socket doesn't sit flat anymore. So because the board has different temperatures at different positions, the board will flex. Like if I see, the board will flex in all kind of directions right there and here to the outer, and then the middle where the CPU socket is, because this area is a lot hotter than the other areas, it will bow, and the CPU socket cannot sit flat on it anymore. And that's why the IR6500 most of the time, or basically always, isn't really proper for doing good BGA work or reliable BGA work on mainboards. Dude, you're a natural streamer. Don't look nervous at all. Thank you very much. I actually have quite some experience on stage. Like I've participated in musicals before, and I was singing and acting on stage, so I actually have some experience in that. Great videos. Hope you keep up. Love watching you whenever you put up one up. Thanks. Thank you very much, Peter. Needs a full area heat under. Exactly. Can I work with you, medic, so I can practice my German? Dankeschön. No problem at all. Center expands, sides don't. Exactly. Socket swaps, that's a very interesting. Maybe one time post a video if you are successful. Yeah, I'm actually thinking about making a video series about the process of learning. The bad thing is, YouTube viewers hate when I do unsuccessful repairs. So often the videos tank when I don't succeed in something. And yeah. Ich spreche ein bisschen Deutsch and Spanish und English, okay. Black Horse Repairs, YouTube has been doing them. Yeah, he has been doing them, but he had to heavily modify the IR6500. And he had to do that he had to write his own software. And he had about a year of practice until he was able to do that. The safe, Northwest Repair. Very glad to see you here. Здравствуй. The safest way to replace the socket on a motherboard is to use the heat plate that's slightly larger than the board itself and put weights on the corners, keeping it flat. Exactly. And that's why I got that preheater, because it is bigger than the EATX standard. I especially enjoy the AM4 repairs. I'm a big fan of AM4, still very valuable platform. Yeah, I love AM4 as well. That's almost all that I'm doing. Okay, let's get a little bit on with the repair because I'm babbling about. We need an 1.8 volt chip. This is probably, and 256 size. Let me get one out of my stash. I should have these on hand. Let's see right here. What do we have? I have other MXICs. Is this the exact same part number? MX25U 256 for 5GZ. Yeah, this is the exact same one. So I do have these. Let's see. Do I have Windbond chips? Because I want to try with the Windbond chip on here. I especially enjoy the AM4 repairs. Yeah, oh, Tony is here. Yeah, Tony's here, Northwest Repair. So many people happy to see. Yeah, I'm glad that people are joining it, actually enjoying it. Yeah, very interesting. Like Northwest Repair, actually, that is such an interesting thing that He lives in the US, has an English channel and also a Russian channel. And the thing is, actually, I live in Germany. I was born and raised here, but I actually also do speak Russian. So I was able to. So I was actually able to enjoy his Russian videos as well. So that is very cool. Da da da. Post this if you're unsuccessful. Also, we learn from it. I enjoy watching the reasoning, try to solve issue. Yeah, but YouTube views tank heavily when you do that. That is the big thing. Okay, let's see. I do have Mainboard chips. Let's get the hot air station fired up. So this is a 1.8 watt chip, pretty sure. Let's see. I have these Mainboard chips right here. 25Q256 JW, and we will use these. Let's see, orientation of the chip, pin 1 at the top left. Let's get a chip out of here. Let's remove the CPU when we're soldering, and also the RAM. Let's get the hot air, get some tweezers. Let's apply some flux. So let's see then. 420 degrees, 40% airflow. Doesn't really matter. Big nozzle right here. Yeah, I've never soldered this BIOS chip because it removes not easily. So I have always only flashed the chip via the header that is next to it. So there's definitely only non-leaded solder on there. Let's replace that. Put some leaded solder on there. Man, the chat is moving so fast I cannot keep up. Cool, how you come you speak Russian? Actually, my parents are not from Germany. Like my mother is, but generations before her have lived not in Germany, and yeah, they've lived in Ukraine and Russia, and yeah, and they actually learned both languages, and I also learned both languages from my parents. Thanks, Mainboard and Tony, that I've waiting for the larger preheaters review. Yeah, that will be interesting. Black Horse repairs are doing successful work on the IS 6500, but it's modified. Yeah, modified. He made his own software. Like I had, I've told this before. I had a IS 6500 and I wasn't successful with it. Yeah, that's why I was looking to actually get a bigger station myself. And when I have a bigger station, I can actually the top heat, like I do have the big preheater on the bottom, and I'm looking forward to make a self-controlled top heater. Like just get one from AliExpress, get a microcontroller with some relays, and just make myself control for that, so I can do repeatable results with that. But yeah, that is something for the future for next year. Let's remove the solder that is on here in order to only have leaded solder here. So let's clean up. Man, I love these nano sponges. Like, the first time I saw them, I was very, very skeptical from other people. But like after I had started using them myself, I really like these. Like the best thing about them is that they're very disposable. Like you use one just a little bit, get it clean. As soon as you see that it smears, just throw it away, take the next one, because they're dirt cheap. So that looks very fine. Area looks clean. Let's see for the chat. JW is 1.8. Nice. Yeah, AMD 1.8. Yeah, 98% of the times. I doubt it's BIOS chip if you dump it and compare the same. It means CPU isn't initializing, AMD CPU isn't rebuilding. Yeah, that might be indeed the case. Flux is pretty important. Yes, it is. Do you take any extra safety precautions because of the leaded solder? I do have a preheater. I do have a sort of a fume extractor right here that I built, but it's very loud. In live streams, that would probably be an issue. I usually flash those chips on the board. Yeah, I've done flashing on the boards with this header exactly here, but that didn't give the result that I was expecting. So I want to put a new BIOS chip onto here, flash it while it's on the board, and then we will see if that will solve the issue here. I use the nano sponges all the time. Yeah, they are great, and especially they are cheap. That is the great thing about them. Like, basically, almost anything that carries the name mechanic is good stuff for soldering. Like, I cannot tell you how much stuff I have from mechanic. And yeah. So let it solder us on here. Let's see. Let's get the new chip in here. Oh, this is the little bit smaller one that I have. Oh, okay. There are actually two footprints from WSON, I think they're called. As you can see, there's the larger one from the MXIC and the smaller one. I have done it, I think, that I got a smaller one. No, this won't reach. Yeah, okay, I won't be able to use this one then. Let me see if I have the bigger one from the Windbond chips, because I think I do have some bigger ones. Let's see right here. This is a used one. And let's see if this is a 1.8 volt also. Yeah, this is also 1.8 volt. Like Soren would say, brand new out of the box. I wonder how many singing, dancing, and motherboard repair people are out there. Yeah, probably not a lot. That's an interesting demographic right there, yeah. So let's get this on here. So chip is properly on there. Brand new from the box, like you follow Soren to exactly. So let's see then. Let's get my. I need to get my programmer. So big box with all of my adapters and everything. Let's see. We do have an MSI one. Where's my MSI adapter? ASRock. There it is. There's the MSI one. So, if you've seen my videos, you know how I do this. I have a I have actually made myself some cables out of connectors and some hot glue and some wires that go onto these SPI chips, and then have a breakout board at the end with pins right there that go into the programmer. And I was told it's very important to remove the CPU and RAM and everything while you do that. But yeah, let's try this then. And now we need to switch scenes in order to get to the BIOS programming. Let me open up the BIOS programming software and see that the capture actually works, because that's a new scene that we haven't tried yet. Where's the Rebel Proc software? Let's see. Where's the software? There's the software. Okay, let's switch scenes then. It should open up right there. Yeah, exactly. Let's see now. And we need the BIOS and Edge screen. That one. Yeah, exactly that one. Let me swap places. So let's see right here then. Okay, I need the connection to the programmer. And let's see. Let's see for this chip. 1.8 volt chip does recognize it. Very nice. And is the chip empty? Yeah, the chip is empty so far. Okay. So let's see then. I need let's see how I do this. I need to do this for a second. And I need to do that. Let's see. So you can see right here. That should be fine. Let's see. This is an X570 MPG Gaming Edge Wi-Fi. That's what we need. So we need support. CH341. No, thankfully I'm not using that program anymore. I still have that, but yeah, thankfully I don't use that anymore because it's slow. It's so slow. Hey Daniel, just wanted to say, love the content, man. Finally caught a live stream. Cheers to you. Hope you're having a great day. Actually, it's the very first time that I'm streaming, so welcome. Thank you very much that you are here. Interesting thing is, my twin brother is actually called David. So very interesting right there. So let's see then. Let's get this one. This is the latest that is stable. Let's download this then. Let me do some putting this into the right file actually. Schematics BX570 and Gaming Edge Wi-Fi. So let's see. We are going to unpack this here. Hopefully we will see a cap to bin conversion today. No, cap to bin conversion is only for Asus ones, but cap to bin conversion is dirt easy with UEFI tools. That's good to know, Arnold. Oh yeah, that's Revel Proc, exactly. That's the one that I'm using. Yes. I always loved how MSI names their product MSI MPG, which stands for Microstar International Performance Group. Yeah. CH347, and yet I still can't write a printer chip with it, so it's not that great. Yeah. All Asus crap, MSI is normal rename bin. Yeah, it's like if you know what you're doing with the Asus one, it's also not hard. But like, yeah, it's way easier with the MSI one. So let's see. We need X570. X570, gaming edge Wi-Fi, there, and that one. And now we should actually have content, so let's hit program. The 3, I've actually never used the 347, I only had the 341. AS Programmer I've used before. That's the software that I've been using before. But yeah, I've changed to RevelProg as soon as I have gotten their programmer. Oh, then on your YouTube chat, I will try to change it from chat to live chat. Sometimes message gets ignored. Oh, to live chat. You can actually change that? Where do I change that? Da, da, da. Top chat. Oh, live chat. That is very interesting. Very sorry if I have not read some of the message. I did not know that was actually a thing. Yeah, I changed that to live chat now. Thank you very much, Ross. Sorry for everyone that I have whose message I didn't catch. Yeah, for ASUS you extract the ROM from the cap with the UEFI tool. It's just a few clicks exactly. Definitely need to change live chat. Thank you very much, JFix. Not sure you lost anything. Usually top chat equals live chat. Yeah, I think in a chat like mine where there isn't too much activity, that is probably the case. I actually have to change that every time I stream. Good to know. See, that's a few of those things that I would have never known if no one would told me. Because like, yeah, how are you supposed to know that? This is the first time I'm streaming, and where the heck should I have known that? Hello, Daniel. Nice to see you doing repair on live streams. Hello there, Ken SM. Welcome. I'm happy to do this. Actually, first time trying this out after 2 years, and yeah. Medic, I have a B550 Steel Legend AM4 DRAM and CPU are in a red LED debug. It has voltage light up but no boot. We actually Russ Repairs had a B650 board, so it's also AMD today in a live stream that had a CPU and a DRAM LED lighting the same time, and he fixed it with a different BIOS chip and a new BIOS. I'm from Philippines. It's already 1:30. Oh, very sorry. Yeah, I got home from university and almost instantly started live streaming. It's 6 p.m. 6 p.m. right here, 6:30 at my location. Hello there, NKLSLS. I have 3 boards with the same problem. Yeah, well, try different. You can start with flushing the BIOS itself, but sometimes you need to actually put another chip onto their Hotopia. Like I've had it where chips looked like they were fine, like they're verified, like we see right now, the verification step. It actually went through and actually programs fine, but still on the board it made problems. And I especially would try to switch from Windborn to MXIC and the other way around. Greetings from Amsterdam. Hello there, Martin. I actually get a lot of bots from the Netherlands. A lot of people from there watching, actually. Love the Netherlands. Been there a few times. Great country. Yeah, changed from MXIC to Windborn and updated BIOS. Exactly. 1 hour difference between me and Germany. It's 1930. Yeah. I love your videos, lots of knowledge. I especially love following a diagnostic process, so it's great to see you doing this live stream. Yeah, thank you very much. Actually, the bots that we are trying to fix here are some that I've tried to repair before, but yeah, I haven't been successful. So yeah, in this case, we're trying this out. And the contents are here now. So let's disconnect the program and let's go over to the other scene again. So let's see, the overhead camera should be starting up every second now. There it is. There we have the board on again. Let's see. But do the BIOS chips actually die, or just the BIOS image gets corrupted usually? Like on average? That's a very good question. Like I would say on AM4 it's usually the BIOS, and starting with AM5 and going onwards it's actually the chips itself. How long would a mainboard take from Romania to Germany? I've had stuff from around there. I think it only takes like 3 to 4 days to get to me. Which chips can I use? Same model from AliExpress. I actually just bought a few different ones from AliExpress as well. The best thing is to take them off of donor boards, but like, yeah, I've also ordered some off of AliExpress. How is the supply of salted caramel chocolate? It is actually very good, yeah, still. I still have some right here. Still have these right here. And I love them. But yeah, I cannot eat too many of these because they're really, really sweet. And yeah, I love them, but yeah, I have bad teeth already, and it just makes it worse, sadly. Trying to fix an Alienware Aurora R16 right now. Looks like a BIOS issue needs to make me a fresh bin file first. Yeah, yep. I actually, laptops have that as well. A lot. Just let it be known, I'm an idiot. I only got it fixed thanks to the chat JFix #1. Hey, Russ, we are all here to learn these repairs. We are all here to learn and experience that together. And that is the most important thing. We are trying to learn it. We're trying to fix these. And that is the most important thing, the experience that you get for that. Because I know it very well for myself. I hate it when I cannot repair something. But that's just part of the game. It buggers me badly, but that's just how it sometimes goes. You cannot repair everything. For the Steel Legend B550, should I use the same model and brand? You can actually try the same one, and you can actually choose the other one. Like, you have different options. Like, try it out, because there's no way of me knowing what the exactly right one would be, but it's just worth trying out. So let's get this board actually built up right here. I'm very interested to see, because as I said, this board was on my bench for a very long time. I want to see if the behavior changes now. So let's zoom down. So we can see the debug LEDs again. We see passive power consumption. Looks great as before. Walls of text. Got an Aorus B650 with CPU red LED stuck. Got all the voltages on the board. CPU heat up. With Chrome burst and still stuck. I'm thinking the problem is on SIO. Might be. Also AM5, like I had many times, knocked off components. I have ASRock H110 DGS with weird issue when cool the board. It was after freeze power button not responding and forced restart plugin out source that it won't boot. Estic, that might be a failing PCH. I have had similar issues, sadly. Let us hit the power button. 2.6 amps, CPU LED, and the same behavior. What a bugger. Okay, so it actually wasn't the BIOS chip then. So then I would expect that there's actually something wrong with the VRAM then, with some part of the VRAM actually saying that there's a fault on here. Let's see for the vCore voltage. 1 volt, that looks fine. And I want to check these double MOSFETs. Let's go under the microscope. I want to check those. How it looks from them, the voltage that they give out. Let's see. I do not really know where to probe these. Let's see. Right there, what do we get? I cannot get any voltage there. 4.2 volts. Oh. I need to I need to see a board view for this. I do not know how these ones work. 4.2 volts on the side right there. That is very interesting because that might be just the gate voltage that we're seeing there, but I'm not too sure about that. If you would know how many mainboards I have laying around here that I cannot fix, you wouldn't believe it. There's like 30 mainboards here that that I do not know what is wrong with them. Can't learn without failing. Exactly. I'm fixing bent CPU pins while watching. That is actually very good. I've actually had a CPU. I have a video on my channel where I actually tried to fix a rip pad on a CPU. That was difficult. Do you have 3.3 on RAM slots? The I'm pretty sure I've checked that. That's the SPD voltage. Let's see once more. The SPD voltage should be right there. There's the fuse for the SPD voltage. Let's hit the power button and let's see together quickly, because that's an easy check. Let's see. 3.3 volts there. 3.3 volts there. Yeah, SPD voltage is present. Press and hold CPU, then start again. The board may connection under the CPU. Max amps of the mini PSU. Normal PSU is a must. I have the PSU that you see right here that is connected has 100 amps. Like, that's a 1200 watt power supply. Amps is not the problem here. I should also shout out Pitco Tech Repairs too. Yeah, he had given some good information. Yeah. Bad switching or volt divider. Yeah, it might be bad switching. We will go to the board view in a second. Can you get a hold of a Z790 live mixer board view from Acer? I can't find anything for the world find one. No, Z790 is too new. I cannot get a hold of board views for that. Hello, the 24-pin tools. There are two identical chips. Can you give me their names? Because mine are polished. There are different versions for these. No idea what version you have, but the one I have, let's see if they are also polished or not. No, these are not polished. Let's switch the polarization a little bit. There it is, GR8313L5NO2. That is that chip, and that is probably, no, that's a different one. So if you're talking about these ones, yeah. And let's see. Oh, you probably mean these ones. Oh, yeah. Yeah, no. These are polished on mine as well. Sorry. Okay, let's head for the board view then. Let's see. Let's get the board view started. So, and switching over to the board view, did that work? That did work. Okay. Oh, let me switch seats. Oh my god, 30. How can we help? There's a guy in Spain from Cuba, Osmania. The guy finds the hard ones. Okay, interesting. But he doesn't do YouTube, does he? Electrogenius. Oh, interesting. I might have to give that a look. I got this 24-pin adapter too, but sometimes even with 10 amps you then don't boot, only boot using... That's actually a good point. Yes. They sometimes only boot with an actual power supply. You are correct. I need to try that out. Let's try that. You are absolutely right. I think I haven't tried this on this one yet. Let me... where do I have... Yeah, I do have a power supply here. Okay. I actually have a 24-pin power supply, normal one here. Let's switch to that then. That's actually a interesting thing to test with this one. Let's make a little bit of space here. So I need to crawl under the desk. Ah, there are my cables hidden. Right here is one. And the 12 volt for the CPU. So, actual 24-pin ATX power supply. Let's see, I need to plug that in yet. Okay, so that should be plugged in. Let's see, reaction to the power button. Yes. Let's see if this has any different behavior. Nope, same behavior. Okay, that was a quick test, but it was worth checking. I can put a different CPU into here, but it shouldn't matter. But yeah, that was important to test, that it isn't the power supply actually putting a fault onto here. So let's see for that again with the different CPU. Should be the same behavior. Yeah, exactly same behavior. Okay, well then, it was worth a shot trying that out as well. But let's get rid of those cables again, so I have more space on my bench. And let's go over to the board view. This is an MS7C37 version 1.4. Okay, let's go over to the board view software. Sadly, one of them is shorted in my lab. Very sorry. Probably just have to get another one then. Flexboard view, board view would help you find a component very easy. Yeah, the Flexboard view is not bad. Yeah, like that software as well. Yes, they are not that good. Yeah. Yes, though, export don't like to adapters. Yep, some just don't like them. CPU for not using Flexboard view. There's a free version which is way better than board view you're using right here. Yeah, I don't really care, to be honest. I have gotten so used to this this version of board viewer. Was it 7C37 or 134? Probably 37. Let me check again, but I think this is the one that we need. 37, yeah, that's the one we need. Please, medic, make more live one times a week. One times a week is difficult. I'm happy to have live streamed after 2 years now. Press on the chipset near the fan when powering on. That we can try that. Someone also suggested putting pressure on the CPU. I will try both of that. But let's first see for that dual MOSFET right here. How that is supposed to work. 4 volt though, yeah, 4 volt seemed weird. Fault PCH maybe. The FCHs on AM4, they fail so rarely. Yeah, thermal check with no heatsink on chipset. Yeah, I can do that. Thermal cam on the PCH, we can do that. But let me first see for this. So how does this work? This takes 12 volt in, then there is the upper gate and the lower gate. Okay, then you have some, this is the output signals. Okay, so where I was checking was this one, and this is the lower gate. Yeah, 4 volts for the lower gate seems to be fine. So we actually have to check right there on this resistor to see how the voltage is. VCCP. Yeah. So if anything, we need to check the voltage on these resistors in order to see if they are right. Because what I was probing before with the 4 volts is actually just the gate voltage. That needs to be higher. And these resistors, where do they go back to? They, on the back side, no, they just go to there, okay. Well then, let's go back to the overview or the microscope again. And let's actually check on these resistors, what kind of voltage they have. First time seeing you live, Mainboard Medic. We need more. Yeah, first time in after 2 years that I'm going live. Don't forget to like the stream, everyone. Very, very true. Thank you very much, JFix. Okay, let's go under the microscope then once more. if you're wondering, I always need to switch seats. There's the workbench here, and to the right, there's my PC where I'm doing stuff with the board view and the BIOS. So, let's see right here. We need to be here. It's so weird that this one resistor has that corrosion right there. This is why I'm even at this position right here to check anything. Because I'm very suspicious of that. And I might even want to take out both of these MOSFETs. But we will see. Let's first check for voltage. Okay, we need passive power consumption. 100 milliamps. Okay. I need a cooler on the CPU, at least a small one, because it gets hot very quickly. So, board starts up. We have 2.6 amps. Let's see right here. So, on this side of the resistor, 0.8. This side of the resistor, 0.8. Yeah, that looks to be fine. 0.8 also, yep. So these also don't seem to be the problem because the voltage coming out of these is fine. I actually want to see there's a voltage close to the PWM controller that is called like VRM ready or VRM power good or something similar to that. And I want to see if that actually makes a problem with some kind of the feedback circuitry. So I will have to find out which pin that is. Very interesting. That one resistor looks like it got a bit of a nick. Right there. Oh no, that was just dirt. Okay. Well, let's see for feedback to that. And I also want to see around the SIO, because there's actually a feedback also going from vCore to the SIO. So let's have a quick look around there. Daniel, you are still using the HP server PC for your breakout board to connect your 8 pins, or have you upgraded? No, I'm still using that. Still using the 100 amp power supply. So on these lines, there's actually feedback from vCore also going into the SIO. And I wanted to see if there's anything knocked off or broken here that would prevent that, but it looks fine. So nothing to be seen there regarding that. Let's then... Yeah, there's another SIO. Let's check for that. Or something similar to an EC chip. If that has any damage, but this looks fine as well. Yeah, nothing to be seen here. Let's try the suggestions of the viewers for applying pressure to the CPU socket and also the PCH. Just for the shits and giggles. Just to try it out. Because who knows if that works. So back to the overhead cam. I will be applying pressure with my palm. Heavily on here. Nope, same behavior. Okay, it restarted. Very weird. Okay. Let me try that a little bit differently. Let me get actually up and standing. So I can actually evenly apply pressure here. Nope, same behavior. Okay. So applying pressure to the CPU socket doesn't do anything for that. Just my hand getting very, very hot. Okay, was worth a try. Medic, I sent you an email if you can help me give some clues to fix my B450. Yeah. As soon as I have time, I will have a look around. Soren had bad luck with Nuvoton chips. Yeah. Oh, the age-old question with Nuvoton chips of their programming or not, that's just a headache all the time. Let's take the cooler for the PCH off for the X570 here, and let's have a look around there and see for the heat signature like some suggested, and also when applying pressure if anything changes then. Let's see right here. 2 screws. Where's my screwdriver? Has anyone seen my screwdriver? Where did I put it? Yeah. Repair guy that hasn't a screwdriver, does not have a screwdriver. Great. Right here. Let's see now. So, screws are out. The PCH is already lifted. Let's see. So, let's then go under the microscope, have a good view of it first. Why is my microscope not on? Microscope capture, please. There it is. So, let's have a good look around here. Okay, so far so good. Yeah, I've definitely been probing here before. Yeah, everything looks fine. Nothing knocked off. Yep, and the PCH itself looks to be fine. Well then, we will be probably trying to apply some pressure to the PCH in order to see if that changes anything. And then we will also see for some heat signatures with a thermal camera in order to see if there's anything anything heating up weirdly on the PCH. So yeah, let's go to the overview once more. When you press on chips, it notices if LED debug lights change. Yeah, we will see. If you press too hard on the chips, the risk burning it out. Not sure it's wise. I won't be pressing very hard on it, just some. Yeah, not 30 pounds. I won't be going with all of my weight onto it, no. Okay, then. Yeah, let's try that. Let's build up the power supply. Let's put my thumb on the heatsink. Where's the power button? On the actual crystal. And let's see now. Nope, same behavior. Let's try that once more. Just pressure a little bit of different corners. Nope. The PCH does get quite hot, but that's like X570 has always gotten very hot. Like all the time when I was repairing X570, the chipsets got insanely hot. And I've even had some chipsets that had like 2 or 3 ohms in some of the rates, and we're still working. So let's see. Let's get the thermal cam out. Getting my phone ready. Oh, I wish I could use the thermal cam with my PC, but the thing is that the software from thermal view actually has a problem with my capture card. And if both are plugged in, the software crashes all the time. Such a stupid like driver issue. But yeah, sadly cannot do anything about it, and I will always have to use my phone instead of doing capture directly through the PC. So we have a good view of the PCH now. So no heat up currently. And let's see now. Yeah, that is just, it's completely. There's no like abnormal heat up there. There's not like a single corner or something like that that is heating up. It's just, it completely heats up. Yeah. That looks very fine. Pretty sure that is not a problem of the PCH. So let me put the cooler back onto the PCH, because these PCHs do get really hot and I don't want to burn this out. Let's get the light also in here again. So let me line this up. Scan the rest of the board. Yeah, I will be scanning the rest of the board, but I first want to get the heatsink onto here again. I especially want to see for the VRM if I can see anything getting hot on there. But yeah, this PCH is like, I don't want it without any cooling on it. Because there's a reason why they have active cooling on these chipsets. Is it a PC motherboard? Yes, this is an X570 board from an MSI. From MSI. So once more, getting connected. Let's get the camera in here, where you can see that. Let's get the light out of here. So yeah, screen is very small. Let's see if I can zoom down on that a little bit better. Yeah, that shall be better. Someone rid of the new infrared P3 and didn't like it. Oh, at North Raspberry Pi. I haven't tried the P3. Would be interesting. You said this is a dual BIOS. How do you set which BIOS it should be used to boot? This one is actually not a dual BIOS. This is a normal BIOS on here. So you cannot change it on here. So let's see. We don't have the macro lens on here right now. So on passive power consumption mode, there's nothing heating up. Nothing to be seen, as you can see. And now let's have a good look while trying to, like, there's a few spots, of course, but because those are like 3.3 volt regulators and stuff, but that is very little heat. Let's turn this on. And it all looks fine. Like, there's no one heat spot. Like, the audio controller does heat. No, there's no heat on that at all. I cannot even feel that with my finger. That's just That's just the thermal cam being very sensitive. Let's see here to the right, whatever was heating up here. Nothing really, okay. Oh, that's just my, yeah. That's just the adapter. But also, all of this heat here is very minimal. Like, this looks a little bit weird, the heat on this controller, to be perfectly honest. Like, that actually is strange. Let's see for some different places. Let's see to the V-core. But I cannot imagine that anything around here is faulty. Yeah, they look fine. That MOSFET actually heats up a little bit differently than the other ones. Yeah, no, but it looks, yeah, no, on this side it looks similar as well. Yeah. So thermal imaging so far doesn't really do anything. Did you scan the memory connectors? Uh yeah, I think I've done the data lines. Yeah. The data lines have been tested, but let's just do that together once more because it's been a while since I've done that. So let's try that. Let's get the thermal cam out of the way here. So let's put this DDR tester into here, data line tester. Let's get rid of the light because the LEDs are not that bright. There's actually one that does not want to light up. But I'm pretty sure, yeah, there it is. It's just bad contact. Yep. The connections are all there. So, the connection from the socket is definitely fine. Daniel, is the Alex off store your store? I saw some from your tools link tell us they're just trying to get some of further insights. No, that is not my store. That is actually some a guy from Egypt, I think, that is called Alex. I'm not too sure if that's the case, but I think so. There again. And he sells these ones, for example. And as you can see, Alex off. And I do not make those. Like I got this provided for free, and this is a great tool in my opinion. You can do all of these checks manually, but yeah, I like that his stuff. So what other options do we have now? Let's then go to the board view again, and I want to check for the all power good signals. I think they're called. That should come from or should be around the SIO. And also I want to see for the VRM ready, I think it's called, that comes from the PWM controller. So let's do that. What happened to the third socket? What third socket? The DDR sockets look all fine to me. Yeah, let's switch over to board view again. Yeah, Egyptian guy. Yeah, exactly. Sylvain. And JFix, yeah. Alex Off has good tools. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Daniel. I ordered the order motherboard testing tools you post links for on AliExpress. Much appreciated for sharing. No problems at all. I wish this board from Alex Off was available on AliExpress. Yeah, he ships from Egypt, so yeah. Is it a frequency tester? No, I have the voltage tester for the DDR. Third RAM circuit looks damaged, even if it's damaged, like I wasn't testing from the third one, and yeah, it shouldn't matter. Let's see then. We are on this one, on the IR35201. VRAM power, okay, that's exactly the one that I'm searching for. And VRAM ready. These are the ones that I would want to check. And this should be going... Is this not going to the SIO? Because I would have expected that this connects to the SIO somewhere. 10k ohm resistor in VCC3 only. And then goes to here. Oh yeah, this is the diodes. Oh yeah. And there on this array, there's the all power max and all power good signal. Yeah, I want to trace these. These are the ones that I'm looking for. If these power good signals are falling off as soon as it goes into that reset state. I have a discount code for his site. I made a video on his products. Yeah, interestingly enough, I didn't get one when I was what is it called, sponsored by him, but yeah. So let's go to the microscope again and let's see for that signal then. Because that is basically all that I can think of. What is there? Yeah, this goes to there. Let's see. I want to see also, before we go to the microscope, the signals of the SIO, where it takes all of these, the inputs for the different voltages. Usually they are close to the end here. CPU T in. Is that actually connected to vCore? No, that is not connected to vCore. HMRef, no, that is not what I'm searching for. This is for the recognizing of the CPU being in the socket probably. V in 0, exactly something like this I'm searching for. Time for evening school. Yeah. Any idea on shipping times from Alex to US? No idea, sadly. I'm in Germany and the shipping was fast. So let's see, what is this voltage connected to here? V in 0 to ground, and here it's the 12 volts. Okay, so that's a 12 volt one. We actually want to check this then as well. Pin 104 and pin 105 is connected to the VCC5. And the next to it is probably then, yeah, the CPU voltage coming in. 107 is the voltage for the memory, I think. Yeah, VCC DDR. Then it's SIO, then it's CPU V core, yeah, and all of that. So we actually want to check some of these as well. Oh, I need to drink something. I'm not used to talk that much. I've got an ACHI Pro SC reballing station, but I'm not using it anymore. I would offer it to you if you are interested. Actually, I've thought about buying one of those because that has a bigger preheating station. So if you're actually interested in selling that, hit me up on my email. That is linked in my video description. Daniel, I would be nice if you create a Discord so everyone can help and share information in repairing motherboards. Actually, every time I get asked about a Discord server for mainboard repairs, I always tell people to go to the Northwest Repair Discord because he has an actual really good Discord. Like the structure and everything that he has is good, and he has a channel for ATX motherboard repairs. You are in Nordrhein-Westfalen. Interesting. Okay. Good to know. So let's switch over then. Again to the microscope. Hello there, Pitco. Very nice to see you. We actually haven't gotten anywhere, sadly, yet. So I cannot say that you missed anything. Because we're still at step 1. This board has a issue of having a... of jumping from a CPU LED to a VGA and boot LED. And we are trying to figure out why. And yeah, we have changed the BIOS chip out now. We have checked voltages, and now I'm checking for power good signals. Can cracked solder bars on the socket cause the problem you are having? I don't think so. We have checked the socket connection with the board via the DDR data line tester that I have. It can tell you if the connections under this socket are connected to the DDR sockets. And all of these connections were there. You can also actually do the same for the PCIe. So there's also PCIe test cards that you can use. They look kind of like this. They have a PCIe socket at the bottom and have LEDs. And that can also tell you if the socket is alright or not. So then, let's power this board up once more and see for that power good signal, if that is like changing in any way. But I have to be fast to check that. Let's see. Should be this one, 3.3 volts. And it's not going anywhere. So that is not the problem. So the 3.3 volts for the all power good is still there. Okay, let's then go over to all of these voltages that are coming into the SIO right here. And it should be these resistors up there, these 3 ones. Sorry for all the questions, Daniel. I will let you focus here. No problem at all. That's why we are here. For me, it's very important to talk with the people, because only when there's someone who can explain stuff, or if we can discuss stuff, we can actually learn from that. And it's actually very often, I have this in university all the time, that the professor actually explains something and everyone is quiet. No one is asking questions, even though there are so many people that didn't understand what the professor was explaining. And people are very thankful if at some point someone actually asks questions in order for stuff to be explained. So feel free to always leave the questions. Like, it's definitely harder to try to repair something if I have to answer people, but that's why I'm live streaming. If you only want content, go watch my YouTube videos. The live streams are for the community in order to have people to talk to each other. So let's see then. For these incoming voltages, let's get a ground again. Always struggling to get a good ground with my leads. Right there should be fine. Let's now see here. Let's turn this board on and let's see right there. 12 volts. And what is this voltage? 5 volts? Yep. Let's see on the other side. 1 volt. Should be also around 1 volt right here. Yep. Then on this one, also around 1 volt. That looks fine. And let's check right there. Also about 1 volt. Check right here. This is something else. Okay, so most of the voltages there look fine. Let's go back to the board view once more to check which exactly are the ones that I need. Because of what you said right now, I'm very happy to follow your channel. There are a lot of good repair technicians out there, but mainly no mainboards. Yeah, people do not care about mainboards very often because they do not make any money. That's just the sad reality of it. But I'm fine with that because I'm not here for the money. That's, yeah. How is the Intel not going? Did you see the suggestion mentioned the other day? Yeah, I've gotten the suggestions. Hate that thing with a passion. Still haven't gotten to anywhere with that. I used to stress my professor, then go back to sleep. Good one. Hi there. Aurelia Nico. Joey does tech Soren Northwest track Northwest repair, but you are the king of mainboard repairs. Yeah, well the other ones are not doing mainboard repairs. That's why. Yeah. Okay, I need to check. Let's see. We need to check these resistors. We've checked the CPU. Let's check these resistors for the VDIM. Then SIO 3VA, VCore. So just checking more of these resistors here. HMREF, CPU, MOST, CPU ST, VN5. What is VN5? That's 45 volts. And VN7 is for the ATX5 VSB. Okay. There's so many voltages here to check. Okay, let's just go ahead and try for the CPU vCore and everything to check here. And we actually have a guest. If you would see who has turned up to annoy us. Let me close up the door once more. Have a look who has joined this stream. If you would hear him purr, he is like a motorboat. You want to fix mainboards with us, huh? Don't you? Grumpy little bastard. I actually have to focus. Please let me repair more mainboards, yes? Go down. Oh, you have a one. And he got his claws stuck in me. Get your claws off of me. Let's get the chat back to here. Is it... Is your cat a flute cat? Yeah. He's a little bit old for playing the flute, probably. I did not check it with the GPU. That is actually something I can do as well. Is it top layer of the board? Kitty, every tech needs a mascot. Yeah. My cat bites my hand if I type on the keyboard. Yeah. What is a flute cat? Oh, that's just internet memes. Nice cotton. What are you studying at university, Daniel? I'm studying electrical engineering. So let's see then for the other voltages here. Let's check some more of these resistors and capacitors. 0.2. And I think it was this capacitor right here. 3.3 volts. Let's check further here. Actually, no voltage here. Voltage there. Okay, I cannot get voltage on this resistor, but that might be something else. Let's check that. What is that resistor? So I was getting voltages on the other resistors and capacitors, except for this one. Let's check where on the board view what that is supposed to be. Yeah, the real expert. He actually does all the work. I'm just editing the videos and the cat actually does all the work for me. So let's see. Interesting. VN7. Which resistor was it exactly? Let me see for the microscope once more. It was which resistor was it that didn't have voltage on it? Might be one of these actually. This is supposed to have the 5 VSB on this side. And this one is supposed to have 5 volts. See, no, CPU VDDP. So all of these 3 resistors are supposed to have voltage on them. Let's check that again. Yeah, don't forget to try the GPU. I will do that. Good luck with the repair. I have to drop. We'll check back later. Have a great evening out. Thank you very much for checking by, Martin. Third one in. Yeah, thank you. That was the resistor. And the third one in is the CPU VDDP in VN5. We will definitely have to check why that doesn't have voltage. Hello, you tell us where you buy your DDR4 diagnostic card? The one where I test the voltages from is from Alex Off. It is linked in my video description. And the other one for the data lines I got off AliExpress. So let's go back to the microscope and get back to this desk. And let's check once more if that was just maybe a bad grounding, but I think that isn't the case. So let's check right here. So I do have voltage here, but I don't get any voltage here. There should be this contact right there. Yeah, nothing. It's the third one in, and this is supposed to be, this is supposed to have 5 volts, I think, on it. Need to check the board view once more, because, yeah. Third one in is supposed to have 5 volts on it. CPU VDDP. Are we missing VDDP voltage? Really? Is this turning on without VDDP on here? Lights back on and CPU fan working. Memory light on. I put video card in. Fan not spinning. Could be bad BIOS or you think more problems. Yeah, DDR, DRAM LED could actually be bad BIOS. There could also be a lot of voltages missing from the DRAM. People don't forget to lick the like button. Oh yeah. Getting freaky here. Don't know if you wanted to type click, but I actually like lick even more. Thank you for replying, bro. Just boarded off Alex off. Yeah. I actually love that one also. This has been fun, but I'm off to work now. Like to see more live stuff there and catch you later. Thank you very much for being here, Matt. Have a good time on work. Hopefully you like your work. Okay, let's check for the CPU VDDP. Let's go into that area and have a good look if that is maybe a voltage that is missing after a while. We might actually be onto something here. I cannot believe it. So if I'm not mistaken, it is supposed to be this one right here. And nothing to be seen. Let's check then with the multimeter while it's starting up if we have a voltage here. So let's have a look. That actually looks wrong. 0.7 only. And going away completely. There's some very weird behavior with this voltage. That might actually be something here. That is very weird behavior. Reminds me of my window licker days. I always use lick. Ha! Doesn't sound so weird if you're a Pokemon fan and not actually know that attack. Bad SIO or bad driver IC? Yeah, I actually think this is something responsible with this buck converter here, actually. Very weird for seeing the voltage behave like that. I want to cheat a little bit. I want to remove this inductor and probe that point with like 0.8 volts or 0.9 volts and just inject voltage and see if the board then works. So that is actually not, that is just to see if that is our actual problem here. So let's apply some flux onto there. Let it solder. Inject proper volts. Good idea, yes. I think faulty regulator might be. Flux is expensive. Ah, thankfully, I don't really care what kind of flux I'm using. Like, some people are like really picky about finding good and important flux and everything. But I don't really care too much, to be honest. Like, I just use something. Okay, that was the... Why did I lift that side? Why did no one stop me? Why did I lift that side? That was not the side to lift. Lift the other side. Let's get that back onto here. There's the side lifted. A little bit burned, but should be fine. Because you're right-handed. How many accounts do you have? This one says 1. Okay, no idea what you're talking about. Okay, we have the inductor lifted. Let's do my usual setup that I do for injecting voltage. Let me clean off my desk a little bit, because as always, it gets really messy after some time. Let us go to the overhead cam. So overhead cam is in here. Let's get the power supply. We need like 0.9 volts, I would say. Let's see. Power supply probes. Let's connect these. And we have 0.96. That is a little bit much. Let's get that lower. Something around 0.9 should be fine. Kind of like that. That should be fine. So, what I like to do is I actually have settings on my headset. It always turns off because the thinking it's in standby. I have a USB connector right here that actually just goes to a ground. So that's my easy way of connecting a ground onto here. And I use a pick that I have right here. A pick tool that I connect the positive side then to. And that's the way I inject my voltage. I will not have a current limit. I will just leave this as is. And I am very interested now in how this board will behave. Mainboard monster, Osmania Martinez. Interesting, never heard of him. Should check that out. But needs, yeah, CC for translate, yeah. Yeah, flux does matter for BGA work. That I can agree with. So let's see then. Power supply is on now. I kind of want to see how this board behaves when I don't have that voltage at all. I think it's behaving, yeah, it's behaving the same way. That is so interesting. That is actually so good to know. The inductor is lifted right now, so that voltage is not reaching at all. And the behavior is exactly the same. CPU LED, VGA, post LED, boot LED. I am so interested if this will work now. Okay, so turn the board on, passive power consumption, supply the voltage, 0.9 volts is there. Let's hit the power button. CPU LED and the same thing it happens. Something is weird about that. Do I have a proper connection? Because I feel like, yeah, I do have a proper connection. But why do I not get any power draw on this? Something about this is weird. Something is very weird here. Something isn't right. Because there might be a power good signal that we are missing then. Because why do I not have any power consumption on that injecting line that I'm injecting? It behaves very weirdly. So we might actually need to trace the controller itself instead of doing what I'm doing right now with inputting voltage. Let's connect the inductor back onto there and let's try that again then. But we definitely are somewhere because the fact that the board behaved the exact same while this inductor was lifted is a interesting sign. Let's try that again. Let's go to the overhead cam again. Okay, it does react still the same, but I feel like something about the way that I'm injecting the power here isn't right. Let's get maybe a different ground, because this seems weird. What voltage should be there? It's VDDP, it should be like 0.8, 0.9 volts. Interesting. I want to check that again with what my multimeter says on that voltage, because it's definitely acting up. There is something on here with that voltage that shouldn't be the way that it is currently. Let's get a ground connection again and let's check that once more. And that is so weird. Cannot tell why this voltage is behaving so weirdly. Let me go under the microscope to check this once more, because I think I have a bad contact here. So let's turn this on again. Yeah, I think my ground probe isn't actually grounded properly. Let's see. Let me get... I have crocodile clamps right here to get a good ground. Let me do that. This is such a weird behavior. I've never seen a behavior like that on a voltage rail before. Let's see once more. Yeah, just nothing. Do I get... Yeah, I get normal readings. Now it seems like there's actually nothing on this power rail anymore at all. Like when checking other things, there's definitely voltage, so my ground is not the problem. But I do not get anything on here. Yep, we will have to check out why that is. Let's clean up the area a little bit there, so we can actually start to check for like the enable pin and everything. So, let's see. Everything connected to it looks fine. So let's check a board view. What the board view says, which pin is like the enable pin where the power comes in and everything. I think there will be the power in, probably the 12 volts and similar stuff. But let's have a look at the board view. Yeah, the replacing the chip will be the last resort, definitely. But I first want to see if I can find anything else that maybe the chip needs. Do you have continuity from the inductor to the SIO components? That is actually a good thing. I need to check that. Easy chip expects BIOS battery. No, that's not a thing. I think you have to check the VRM voltage failing before moving to inductor. Bro, I got an LG A1700 board, both CPU and DRAM LED light at the same time. Had Rust repairs today repair that fault with a different BIOS chip. Lebit Jessic. Yeah. Okay, let's first see for the chip. Let's see enable. There's the enable. Where is that coming from? From these resistors. Okay, so we will have to check the enable pin. If that is still there. It's probably, is it connected to a power good of something else? No. Okay, let's check right here. This is probably the incoming 12 volts for the VDDP. Yeah, exactly, like I thought. So the incoming voltage is under it. NB503, okay. CPU VDDP 3.3 volts. What is that? A CPU VDDP power good signal. Interesting. Where's that coming from? That is going into here. There's all more power good signals. And that's probably coming, yeah, this is from its own, yeah. So that's the power good signal. So we need to check the enable. The 12 volts was there pretty surely. And the power good signal is also interesting, which probably isn't there. Mode pins are something that we might actually also need to have a look at. Different brand BIOS chip and latest BIOS file. Yep. So let's go then onto the board and check for these values then. Oh, it's almost 8 o'clock. Holy moly. I will have to end probably around 8 o'clock somewhere because my wife will be home and she wants to spend time with me and I want to spend time with her. So yeah, let's see if we can repair this one. So, the enable voltage. There's no enable voltage, really. Because pretty sure it should be on these ones. Is there just no enable there? Yeah, streams go by fast. Let's see. What does OBS say? We're almost 2 hours in by now. But yeah, we are supposed to have voltage on this enable pin, I think. And we do not have any voltage on there. Let's check where it should be coming from. 12 volts VDDP. Is this just... Yeah, it enables it by 12 volts here. Interesting. We need to check with the different CPU. Because with different CPUs, you sometimes get different results on VDDP. That is very... Let's see. Let's see with the different CPU then. And if anything, we can inject voltage into that enable signal. Starting point of the voltage regulator. What do you mean by starting point? Like, we've checked the 12 volts for the input, and we've checked the enable. Can't see board fee. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Whoops. Thank you. Yeah, exactly. So, the enable signal, this was what we were probing. And having a look, it's actually coming from a resistor right here that is connected to 12 volts. And there's also a MOSFET that can pull this low to ground. So we might need to check with a different CPU in here if that is the reason why. And there's also another gate, a double N-channel MOSFET that can also drag this to ground. This is just another diode. Okay, so we will have to check with the different CPU. Yes, mount a CPU that appears on the QVL list of the motherboard maker. Oh, yeah, I would have to look into that, but not right now. I'm just going to test the different CPUs now. Let's go into the microscope scene then again. So, what do we currently have in here? We have a 2600 in here. Let's then check with the 3100. There's my 3100. So let's see. Turned it on. And let's probe it now. Where are we here? And turn this on with the 3100. Still nothing. So with the different CPU, we have 12 volts, but we have nothing on here. Nothing on these pins. Okay, I want to... Let's see if that is actually pulled down to ground then. We can check that by turning the board on and checking... Oh, microscope. And checking to ground from here. So, does this have voltage in standby mode, but doesn't have voltage in like... Or is this just shorted to ground somewhere? No way the enable signal of this thing is shorted to ground. Really? That is a weird... Huh. Okay, guys, I need a quick toilet break. I will be right back. Please, if anyone comes here, I'll be right back and we will have a look at that. Quick toilet break. Whew, so here we are again. Just a quick toilet break. What did I miss? Kind support for you. Found it. S1. Yeah, hopefully we found it. I'm the only Aurelia in the world. Hello, Aurelia. He added the vault to coil and still didn't work. Means deeper issue. Yeah. Hi there from Arizona, USA. Hi there, John Harris. Next time you have to insert a picture about a real toilet. Yeah, we'll have to get a transition screen. Yeah. He found the short or something wonky looking like a short. One step forward. I think, yeah, toilet break. What is the name there? That missing enable signal probably goes to somewhere else too. Yeah, that's a good thing. Because actually that enable signal can drag other things down as well. Let's have a good look now. Once more for the resistance. Because I was going a little bit fast there. So, we have a probe connected to ground right now. We have no power attached. And the resistance on this side, which is pretty surely the enable signal, which is that one right there. I cannot get a reading right now. So that means this might be an active short. So if we apply power, let's see if I can now see a short on here. And now I can see a short. So there's something dragging it down. So let me get the other hand. So if we probe this, we should see the 2 ohms. 2 ohms. And we have 110 milliamps. That means it's in standby mode. Let me turn it off. It's turned off. And now we can see it goes to open line. That means that's an active short. That's not an actual short circuit that anything is broken. But that's a transistor dragging this down. And that might be related to either a transistor having a faulty signal or this CPU does not need the VDDP. So let's do yet another CPU swap just to be sure that this behavior is consistent around the other ones. So we have a 4100 in here right now. And without passive power consumption, we don't have a short. And when I turn this on, it goes to a short again. But we do not have voltage on there, do we? Yeah, we don't have any voltage on there. So we will have to figure out what N-channel MOSFETs are connected to there. There are different ones. There are, I think it was these ones that are connected to there, or one of them that is connected to the enable signal. And one more, I think it was around, where was it? Around here. But the areas look fine. So let's go then into the board view and see why that could be shorted. Wioski Blondero, hey there. First message in my Twitch chat. Very nice to see you. If you don't know, I'm actually also dual streaming to Twitch and not only to YouTube. But yeah, most of the audience is on YouTube because yeah, that's where I'm basically coming from. Let's go to the board view once more. And let's check where that signal could be dragged down from. Q81 and friends on board view. I suspect those 3. What's the burn mark on third DRAM slot? Didn't look at that. Could still have a look there. Hello, Daniel. Nice to see you. Livestream. Greetings from Italy. Hello there, Alexander. Twitch hates me. I've heard from quite some people that they have bad experience with Twitch. Hello from Twitch, JFix official, yeah. DJ Ross, yeah. Now we're going over to Twitch, huh? I see you there, guys. Okay, let's see then. We have a capacitor and the resistor next to each other. Then we have a diode. See, that goes onto here. Okay, but the diode isn't actually. We have these two. These are 2 N-channel MOSFETs. So let's see for this one. This gate voltage is coming from where? This is just coming from more gates. That is beautiful. This might be actually something where we want a schematic instead of the board view to easier understand that. Let me see for this board. I do have a schematic. So let's see then here. We need to go to the U26. And let's see. I will have to adjust the capture. Let's see. Right, this one. So, schematic. CPU VDDP. At 8.5 amps, it should be. And there's a formula to check. Yeah, this is for just the amps. 0.9 volts, it says. Yeah, derived from 12 volts. Okay. So let's see then. How else is this working? CPU VDDP switch. No, the reverse snubber network. That's not interesting to us. Okay, let's see then. V out FSR ripple. Yeah, that's just for the filtering. Yeah, for the different filters. Okay. 0.9 amps at 13 volts. Okay, let's check then. We have Vn, that is 12 volt. That we have that. There's a bootstrapping capacitor. We have the output for the switch. We have the feedbacking that actually clarifies what kind of voltage we want. Then power good is not connected. These are the grounds. Not connected. 1 pin 8, I think that is. Mode 2. Let's see, what do these do? So we have CPU VDD mode 2 and mode 1. These are fixed though. These are 0 ohm resistors that go to ground. Internal 3.3 volts and yeah, no idea what that one is. Yeah. Also no idea what CLM is, but all of these are fixed. Like they have resistors to ground and that's it. So we don't worry about these. The CPU VDDP power good is an output voltage, as we can see by these arrows right here. So we don't care about that as well. We care about the CPU VDDP enable signal. And we have to go searching for that now. And which is probably around here. Yeah, these are sometimes difficult to read. These are the enable charts for different kind of CPUs. You have a signal called type 0 CPU select. And this signal right here has to be high or low depending on what kind of version of AMD CPU you have. So this is Summit Ridge, this is Matissa, I think it's called, Raven Ridge, and yeah, Bristol Ridge or something. And yeah, there's different ones out here. CPU VDDP not support type 2, CPU VDDP not support type 4. Yeah, okay. So based on the TPU type select, this transistor goes high or low in order to enable that. Type 0 CPU select for Raven Ridge, which is I think 2000, like 2600, 2200 and something like that. That is supposed to be a 0. And for Bristol Ridge, Summit Ridge, and all of the others, it has to be a 1. So, does this mean that if this is a 0, only with Raven Ridge CPUs we have CPU VDDP enable? Because that would mean if we have a 1 here, which is a logic high signal, this would get dragged down to ground. Difficult to say. Huh. Let's see where else this signal is also going. Yeah, here we can see where the that was wrong. Here we can see where the actual enable is coming from, actually. So we see 12 volts goes through a 100k ohm resistor and actually ends in CPU VDDP enable. So, and it should be a 1 volt to 1.32 volt signal. Good to know. So, as soon as the 12 volts is present for the input of the chip, it should be enabled as well. There's a voltage divider right here that you can see, which results in this voltage. And the big question is now, why is it being dragged down? Is it being dragged down because this one has gate voltage there when it shouldn't have or should have? Or is it another one? Because I'm pretty sure I saw another... Yeah, this one. Okay, let's see here. This is a double N-channel MOSFET. And this double N-channel MOSFET is supposed to be... It gets 5, so we have 5 VSB. That is the most important first. This 5 VSB feeds the gate from this one and from this one. That means if we have 5 VSB at this point, the enable signal here is getting dragged down and the CPU 1.8 volts enable is getting dragged down. And the only way the 5 VSB is being disabled, so these gates aren't pulling it down to ground, is if we have sleep state 3 and DDR power good. So all we have to check is if we have voltage on R340, if it pulls this gate high or low. So let's see for R340 then. That is this resistor right here. If we have voltage on this side. So let's check that. And that will tell us if it's this MOSFET or the other one, this enabling or disabling our signal that we're searching. So over to the microscope once again. And let's go to, right, where was it? Here. And it's about that, right, about this one right here. 5 VSB. And we don't want to see 5 VSB on this side. And we do have 5 VSB here. Does this go low when we hit the power button? Yeah, it does go low. Does it go high again? No, it does not go high again. So that means the enable signal is not being affected by this 5 volt VSB. So it's probably a type select from the oh yeah, now we have 0.9. Yep, this is a rabbit hole I've chased before. Cannot believe this. So before we just had CPUs that didn't have VDDP. Ugh, the VDDP is fine. I've chased this rabbit hole twice, I think, before. And I got stuck by that. That is just the VDDP sometimes not being enabled for specific CPUs. And now all of the voltages are probably here that we need. Oh, I cannot believe how much time I wasted just on that. I've done that before. Yeah, now we have 3.3 volts on the enable side, and we have 0.9 volts on the VDDP. Ah, okay, back to square one. Because now it probably also reaches the SIO where it was missing before. Yeah, now it also reaches the SIO. Oh, man. And I thought I was on about something. Oh. Yep. So actually, it was about that chart that we've seen. Let me show you that again in the schematic. So in the schematic, This is not the right one. Let's see. We want to be here. It is actually about this type select right here. This signal, type select 0 CPU, is a pin that is connected to the CPU itself. This is, oh man, this is connected to this core type 0. This core type 0 and this type 0 CPU select are logic are logic signals that determine what kind of voltages the CPU requests from the motherboard. And depending on different CPUs, you get a different higher lower value. As you can see, you have a CPU right here, the type of CPU, and then if core type is 1 or 0. And depending on which generation of CPU you have from AM4, this gets high or low. So yeah, this is why the VDDP was disabled, and AMD uses that for multiple stuff, for multiple things, for enabling 1.8 volts or something like that, and it especially does use it for VDDP enable. And I was tricked by having one of these CPUs that pulls this transistor down to ground in order to disable the VDDP. Cannot believe that. Pray that your wife comes home soon. She's actually home already. So yeah, I will have to wrap this up soon. But oh, I cannot believe that this wasn't the actual fault, man. I was so invested in that and was actually looking forward to finding out if that was the problem right there or not. Ah, but it isn't. Very, very sad. Let's go back to the overview once more. Oh, I am struggling with this bot. This bot has taken so many hours of work out of me already. And I'm just struggling to repair it. So checking with the different CPU will fix the issue. Yeah, you could say it like that. Yeah. Okay, someone asked something about a burnt RAM slot. Let's see under the microscope once more, just to have a good look at that, because someone asked about that. So let's see. So none of these looked burnt. Cannot see anything that is bad here. And going along the way. Interesting. What in the heck is that? I have not noticed that. Oh yeah. Okay, so there was something here, but I'm pretty sure that these aren't shorted. So this one is actually damaged. You are correct about that, but I don't think that these are shorting to anything. Let's see for their resistance. However the fuck you were able to spot that. Very great view. But none of these pins seem to be shorted to anything. That one might be ground, but we want to check that. So there might have been something in here. Yeah, 100 ohms and rising. Yeah, no. So, someone put RAM backwards? Who knows? But yeah, I wouldn't expect this to make an issue though. Yeah, there's only that. Interesting. Let's check on the RAM slots beside it, if that is actually supposed to have like low resistance, or if that is a problem. So let's check. Is it this one? I think it's supposed to be this one. Higher resistance. Higher resistance. Oh no. Yeah, same resistance on that one. Let's check on the different RAM channel then. Let's get this RAM out of here. Let's check on the one next to it. So we want to check this pin and that pin. And they do have higher resistance. Interesting. Am I checking the right ones? I think I am. None of these. So the other memory channel seems to have higher resistance, while this one has lower resistance. Does it? No. Resistance seems to be fine. Like something has definitely happened here, but it's hard to tell. Can you disable that RAM slot entirely for testing purposes at least? No, I cannot. Hmm. Does the board behave the same when there's no RAM plugged into there? Let's see. Are you from France? No, I'm not from France. Whiskey Blondero. I'm from Germany. Let's see. Let's go to the overhead. And let's see if the board behaves the same way when I don't plug RAM into here. If there's something related to the RAM maybe burned. Let's see. Turning it on. CPU LED. CPU LED. And it's not changing when there's no RAM in here. Let's see with a different CPU. But I also don't get post beeps. Let's see. 2600 now. CPU LED. No, this is a DRAM LED. Okay, so with the 2600, it swaps from a CPU to a DRAM LED. Let's check some different slots then. So there might be actually a problem with some sort of the DDR. Oh, I don't have a speaker on here. What am I saying? Let's do this again. Okay, let's do this again without a CPU. I want to know this. Yeah, it's beeping when I don't have RAM in there. And when I have RAM in there, CPU LED, and again the VGA and boot. So there might be actually something related to the RAM being faulty here. So once more, let's see if it just stays on a yeah, it just stays on a DRAM LED. Does it stay like that forever? It seems to be so. So it stays on that DRAM LED forever without having without having RAM in there. So for the 2000, what is it? 600, we don't have VDDP voltage. But it doesn't go into that fail state. So that means it cannot be a problem with the VRM. Because if it would be a problem with the VRM, it probably would have been in fail state already. But it seems to be something related to the RAM. Let's check for the RAM voltages. Yeah, Sergei Rydenko. Yeah, we have a lot of AMD products in Germany. So yeah. And I just love to fix AM4. Okay, let's turn this off. Let's get the RAM voltage tester. Man, I have to get off soon. My wife will be mad at me if I continue. Let's see here. But I just a little bit more, guys. Just a little bit more. It's the first live stream. So let's see then with the DDR tester. So I get a float on RCA. No, I don't. Okay, that was just bad contact in the socket. So all of the voltages are there. I know the focus is awful with this camera. 3.3 volts, 2.5 volts, 1.2, 0.6, 0.6. All is there. Postcodes are running. So it's not the DDR voltages that are bad. But what can it be? If as soon as we plug in a RAM, that it behaves like that. I was not here from the beginning, but did you check the board with another memory stick? Yeah. We can just put another one in right now. That's a quick test. So with another stick of memory, we get the same behavior. Again, the LEDs. Text her a link to participate to the live stream then. I think she's watching the live stream. Check each slot. Yeah, let's just populate each slot once, just to have it tried. Also the one that seemed bad. Yep, same behavior on that slot as well. And the next slot, also same behavior. And going for the last one. Oh, you mean with the tester? Yeah, we can do that. Yep, all of these slots give the same result with different RAM. Let's go with the tester then into a different slot. BIOS, we have tried the BIOS and we have tried the BIOS chip itself also. Sadly, without any success. The tester is not mine. I haven't designed that thing. I just was sponsored to you to get that, and the tester is very nice. So, with the third RAM slot that looked bad, it's all there. Even with the one that looks like it had bad, like where the contacts look bad, it still has all of the voltages and everything fine. There's a few things we can check. There's a few voltages on that tester that we can also check. I need to get a, oh, I have a good ground. Let's turn this on again. Let's go for voltage. And there's a few things that you can check. For example, the VREV. Yeah, has voltage. That looks fine. And let's see, these are address lines, VDT, CDSA, RSA. Yeah, they all look fine. Just the ref was important for me to also check, but the VREF also has voltage. Oh, difficult repair here. Very weird. So only as soon as we have RAM into here, it actually starts to complain or goes into some sort of failure state. Let's check if we have both together. If then maybe one of the RAM voltages goes into a protection. So let's see right here. We now have an actual stick of RAM in here. And it glitches out. And we are stuck on a DRAM LED. Oh, and the CPU still is already burning hot. Whew! Yeah, having the CPU without a cooler gets it really hot. So there seems to be something wrong with the DDR, because you were able to see it was glitching out there as soon as it actually tried to go with a RAM stick on there. Let me see if that happens again if I put a cooler onto here. I just want to have it cooled a little bit. Just want to check for myself quickly. Yeah, the DDR tester actually gets stuck and doesn't display any new values anymore as soon as we go into that state where the stick isn't recognized. This is such a weird behavior. Try cooler, maybe BIOS needs cooling to post. Yeah, coolers on the CPU, but yeah, nothing. Well, it may be a lost cause, maybe because trace thermal resistance knows bizarre problem. Yeah, this problem is very bizarre. The board is on at my place for almost 2 years now. I had this for a long time. Data tester. Yeah, we have seen for the data lines, and the data lines look good. I do not understand well. So with different CPU, different behavior. No, the behavior is the same. Just VDDP missing or not there is just dependent on the CPU, but that is not the fault that we have. The behavior is the exact same. We know motherboard is having power to RAM. Power to BIOS. CPU is recognized somewhat, but because beeps with no RAM, it will not the CPU connection. Yeah. Try cooler, maybe the BIOS. Yeah, we did cooling. It's a weird fault for sure. Yeah. The fault has been driving me mad. Change the RAM slot. We have tried all 4 of the RAM slot and have tried different CPUs, different RAM. You gave it hell. Yeah, I'm trying. Maybe revisit on next stream. Go spend time with your wife. That is actually not a bad call, to be honest, because I'm actually also not getting anywhere with the sport. I will be thinking about this. We actually got some new things out of here, with needing to check the RAM more thoroughly of what can be here with the RAM. I will be needing to check some power good signals of the RAM if they disappear or not. So I will definitely have to take a closer look to that. But yeah, it is a rabbit hole. Yeah. Like, I have, in all of the mainboards that I've been fixing so far, I've never seen anything like this before. But yeah, these are interesting. These are something to learn. I just use a hammer. If you would know, my wife actually does say that sometimes as well. I just checked the VREF. We checked that it was around 0.6 volts with the DDR tester. Oh, change capacitors to RAM, maybe. Well, if it would be bad capacitors, you would see the RAM voltages act up. But the RAM voltages are very steady. Yeah, sometimes you need a break to get a different view to it. That's exactly it. I'm glad my repair wasn't this involved. I would have thrown it into a bin a long time ago. My wife loves to say, open up the window, we're just going to throw it out and do the next one. I have problem like that. Stick RAM into LED and code 43 and chipset was the problem. Interesting that chipset was the problem. Could be a PMIC near the RAM area. That could actually be the problem. The RAM actually has an SM bus that is connected to the CPU and that is talking to the CPU, and that might be a problem. Does MSI boards turn on without CMOS battery? Yes, they should. Okay, guys. Oh, this was quite the live stream. We went for 2.5 hours for the very first live stream that I have. It went a lot longer than I thought. So I'm overwhelmed by the positive feedback, and it was actually a lot of fun. It is very stressful. Like, I now understand why people don't want to stream for a long time, because it is stressful and it is a lot of work to do streaming, to do commentary, to talk with people in chat. But I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you everyone for being here. Thank you so much for all of these suggestions, for all of the tries with me to repair this thing. I will give this another try, maybe in another live stream. I can't promise when the next live stream will be. But yeah, we will have to take a good look at this one once more. So, thank you everyone who was here. Thank you and the congratulations for all the kind words. Thank you very much for everyone. Thanks for the treatment. Just yeah. As I have a good evening, or whatever time is it for everyone. Looking forward to the next live stream. Let me see that I can end the live stream properly here. Next video, as always, will be on Saturday, as every week. So even if not in live stream, we will see each other then. Have a good one. This was Mainboard Medic. Thank you very much, and goodbye.